You're listening to the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The Ecosystem Approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach show. In the beginning of every year, everyone is trying to tell you what to do in this new year and what tips and tricks you can use to make it better. But there is an invisible part that no one sees and can sabotage all your efforts to have a better year. This is the most obvious characteristic of human beings, and no one knows how to implement it. Today, we're going to talk about how to live differently in 2025 that is unknown and frankly should be obvious. If you're tired of the same old advice and methods about starting fresh, making new habits, and doubling down on old methods of change and improvement, this show is for you. Human beings are ecosystems. We're not machines. An ecosystem is defined as a community of living organisms, plants, animals, and microbes. Humans are made up of complex systems and organisms, and we include essence. Some call it the soul, which could be the most important part. A healthy ecosystem never needs to be motivated, pushed, or driven. It just works as it was designed. A healthy ecosystem gets stronger and more vital as it ages. Think of a 100-year-old oak tree versus a 10-year-old oak tree. Which is stronger and more sustainable?
That's my favorite metaphor.
Okay.
The 100-year-old oak tree with an ecosystem is so much more stronger. It's going to be there for another 100 years.
Yes, that's right.
Where a 10-year-old is not.
It hasn't reached that point.
In a machine world, it's just the opposite.
Yeah.
And so programming us like a machine, just from that standpoint alone doesn't make sense.
Well, okay. So give us the definition of what a machine is.
An apparatus using or applying mechanical power and having several parts, each with a definite function and together performing a particular task. For machines, that's great. For human beings, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Machines wear out and break down as they age. Of course, they need to be programmed and directed. Mm-hmm. For machines, it's normal to measure performance and output. Humans are designed differently.
And by the way, there's a real distinction there. Both have been designed.
Yes.
But humans are designed differently.
When we act according to our design, it makes more sense. Well, so we're going to talk about that.
We are, show. And it makes it easier and smooth. So let's keep going.
Here's one of the most important parts.
Okay.
All ecosystems on Earth have a non-physical component, which is essence. Mm-hmm. And at the root, it's connected and constantly interacts with the physical using subtle energy. Science studies ecosystems, but it never considers the non-physical or subtle energy dimension. Some call it the spiritual dimension, the energy dimension, metaphysical, whatever.
Right.
That's because subtle energy is perceived via intuition. And these perceptions and these things are non-standard and do not lend themselves to have consistent measurement and are contrary to scientific structure. Scientists doesn't know what to do with it. It makes them crazy. Oh, I got this through my intuition. If you go to your doctor and say, well, my intuition tells me.
Yeah, and they look at you sideways.
Yeah.
And they immediately start calling, but we won't go there at the moment.
They give you a prescription for therapy or something. Yes,
exactly. Yeah. I was going to be a lot, anyway, I was going to be myself here. Essence, which is not present in the physical world, that includes purpose and is connected to human DNA as well as all aspects of our physical body. A healthy essence knows who it is and what its purpose in life is. It has natural enthusiasm, gratitude, and love of life, and never needs to be told to be grateful or enthusiastic or loving, especially with itself. By the way, I love that part the most for the simple fact that, yes, it's very emotional, but that's where I connect with the understanding of
Well,
essence.
she's heard me pop off when people say, well, activate an attitude of gratitude. And I hate that because if you have to activate it, there's some sort of toxic in your ecosystem
Meaning
that
negative energy
yes,
blocking your way.
that
Sorry.
needs to be removed.
Yes, 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 yes. It's really interesting.
So if people live like ecosystems, the consciousness and wisdom and evolution of Earth would begin to increase with
Mm,
no upper limits.
yes,
That's huge.
yes.
We would naturally protect and develop our natural resources. We wouldn't have to be told. We
Mhm.
wouldn't have to argue about it. It would be kind of obvious.
Right.
I don't have to tell my dog not to pee and poop in its cage.
No.
It just knows. That just makes perfect sense.
Well, and the other thing is, and my dog knows to be grateful to his mom because that would be me. She feeds him.
I don't think that's gratitude, sweet.
Oh,
I think that's gullibility, but that's something else, you know.
Okay. Well, I tried. Let me put it that way.
So so much is being discussed about consciousness today, and developing that consciousness
Mm,
starts with seeing and acting like an ecosystem. Oh my gosh, I see all these videos about
mhm.
consciousness today,
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
it's exciting, but so much of it is kind of just a little skewed because they don't start with the foundation. That's right. And a lot of those methods that they tell you to do, even when they're channeling some sort of ET, they
Okay.
don't understand the ecosystem part of us, and that's what would make that advice much more practical.
Okay. So
And so the magic of the ecosystem approach
there
is
you
that we
go.
show you how.
There you go. This is a new way to live because instead of allowing humans to be a natural ecosystem, we've been trained and shown how to be machines,
Started from childhood,
starting from childhood.
kindergarten, yes.
Even before that, yes, by all means. The ultimate irony is that self-help, self-improvement, and metaphysical experts who talk about energy but use techniques that treat people like machines with programming. Phrases like elevate yourself, see yourself, or promises of quick fixes to transcend or reprogram your subconscious often are attempts to program you in unnatural ways.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Living more natural like humans are designed could eliminate health issues,
Mm,
relationship problems, aging difficulties, money issues would be much less. All your problems could be resolved by living more like an ecosystem instead of a machine.
exactly. Human beings at the highest level of evolution have free will. They can direct themselves, but often default to machine like programming that incrementally removes free will and blocks their connection to energy forces that naturally are in place to help them live a better life. And the reason that people do this, I'll just put it right out there, is because no one understands truly what programming is all about
Yes.
and what the nature of it is. So, Jason, what is the summary?
This time of year is full of advice about improving your life for 2025.
Mm-hmm.
But there is an invisible part that everyone misses that is the most important. Most advice and helpful tips are framed as if you, the recipient, are a machine.
Mm-hmm.
Just do this, this, this.
That's correct.
The truth is that human beings are ecosystems, but the whole world is organized to see humans as machines with parts that need to be need fixing and programs to make our life better. The ecosystem approach sees humans as ecosystems, and as we age, with the focus always on sustainability and balanced health. That's a
Mm,
biggie.
yes, it
With an
is.
ecosystem approach, the focus on sustainability, not achieving your goals.
Well, and also having true power and the potential of what humans were meant to be.
And if you're thinking to yourself, what about my goals? Stay tuned. If
Yes,
you know this
yes,
is
I
the
like
truth
it.
for you, please subscribe to our channel right now, the Ecosystem Approach on YouTube. Jason and Patricia.
There
Jason
you
and
go.
Patricia
I
Rohn.
love
Yes.
that. I absolutely love that. In the next segment, Jason and I are going to talk about what our life is like living as an ecosystem. Huh. That could be interesting. Maybe you can see what it would be like for your life if you actually lived like an ecosystem. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. And one more time, I'm going to say, go to our website and subscribe to our free section right now.
The
Jason,
ecosystemapproach.org.
thank you
We
very,
have a free
very,
section. It gets a weekly newsletter
yes,
and energy work. It shows you how to do it. It's all laid out.
yes,
It's really, really valuable. If you know this is what's the answer for you,
yes.
do it right now.
Or if you're just kind of curious, what are they talking about?
Yes.
Come and check us out. We'd love for you to do that. So, with that said, um, uh, the next segment,
Yeah.
excuse me, in the next segment, Jason and I are going to talk about what our life is like living in an ecosystem. Join us. Stick around. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about what our life is like living like an ecosystem. We can see how you can see what it would be like for your life if you actually lived like an ecosystem.
Yes. Wow.
And by the way, we didn't expect all of the changes, I'll say it this way, but in so many ways they were so subtle, we didn't even notice them, but other people did.
We got the most feedback when we haven't seen someone for a while. Like
Yes.
my sister, for example, she's seen how I'm completely different now than I
Yes.
was,
Yeah.
when we were growing up.
Yes.
It's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
And people don't change like that. What we do learn in our life is we learn to cope. We don't change.
That's programming.
Yes, we cope with all those things that are bad around us. We
Yes.
don't ever really
Yes.
address it.
Right.
So,
Well, I was going to
go
say,
ahead.
we've been living like an ecosystem or systems for 25 years. And today we're going to talk in this segment, we're going to talk about what it was like to talk to others about how they saw us before and how they see us now. In fact, some people, they kind of think we're a little strange because Jason and I are always together and we're always happy. And life is very, very, very interesting.
Well, the point is that people kind of gravitate toward us, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But when we talk about being an ecosystem, they think that's weird.
Yes.
And the truth is that the real brainwashing comes from being programmed.
Yes.
Like we all were, Patricia and I were.
Yes, we were.
Programmed like a machine, starting in kindergarten. Can you imagine? Remember the lineup? You have to line up to go outside or
I
go
do.
to
Yes, 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 yes.
and everybody's supposed to do things in a certain way, and there's a protocol.
And you're expected to perform that way, even if you didn't have to perform that way, say at home before kindergarten.
Yes.
It's very interesting.
And that's there's some radical new ways of teaching kids new types of schooling, but this is the classic way, and we were part of that. And so we're trying to say that the real brainwashing comes from being programmed, not from living like an ecosystem.
Correct.
So let's talk about some of the benefits that we've experienced.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
day to day.
I like that.
So you want
Well, for the first thing, first off, I've had intuition all my life. I actually knew what it was, but let me back it up and say, I was programmed that I wasn't allowed to use it, that people wouldn't understand me, wouldn't like me if I used it.
You were shamed for it.
Oh, really, really shamed. And then, but after I met Jason and we started using, then we started creating the ecosystem approach. My intuition exploded beyond what it had been. And it was just, how do I put it? It was enlightening. It was energizing because my intuition became so refined in such an amazing
We
way.
talk about refinement of intuition. And what that
Yes.
means is when you remove the toxics from your ecosystem,
Hmm.
your intuition naturally, because it's an innate part of you, it's an
Right.
organic part of you,
Right.
explodes. It gets
Yes.
much bigger,
Yes.
and you can't help it. And that refinement helps you evaluate the information that you get. We call
Correct.
it our personal Google, and I realize that there's other browsers and
Yes.
search engines than
Understood. But
besides Google, but
understood.
we can, and we do this all the time.
We do.
We'll sit down and um, ask questions,
Yes.
and we don't ask a specific person. We don't have that. We just go into the non-physical dimension and look for answers.
Yes.
Again, it's more like Google, where you type in a
Right.
question and you get 10 different websites to go to.
Well, exactly.
And typically what we do is Patricia does the communication and I evaluate the answers.
Correct.
But a lot of times, when she's communicating, I'm getting answers over here while she's getting answers over there.
And then often we'll lay them all on the table, so to speak, and figure out what's in the best interest for both of us.
And just like the internet,
Yes.
and this is where the refinement comes in,
Yes.
we get bad answers.
Sometimes.
We get answers that say, well, I know that's not true.
Yes.
That can't
Yes.
be true.
No.
And we that's traditionally a refined intuition. So I want to talk about that. Well, we've talked about that in previous shows. So
Sure.
that's where it comes from.
Right.
Our emotional intelligence has exploded.
Yes.
It's leaps and bounds from what it was. We can go into any sort of situation and figure out who's who, what's what their motives are,
Right.
what they're really like, what
Mhm.
they're trying to hide, all those things. It's very, very obvious to us, and we're constantly shocked that it's not obvious to other people.
Exactly. Exactly. I have had more than one, I'll say it that way, say, I never thought of it from that perspective. Or how did you see it from there when I didn't see it that way at all? It never entered my mind.
People
And
say that to us all the time. I've never
yes,
thought about it from that perspective before.
exactly.
That's emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Here's the other thing, and
Okay.
unfortunately, we have to go through this stuff fairly quickly because of time, but our ability to self-heal is considerable.
This one I love.
We have great outcomes. So it doesn't mean that we never get sick and nothing bad ever
We're
happens
human.
to us.
Yes.
Yeah, we get illnesses and syndromes, and I've had allergies all my life that are much, much better than they've ever been before, but I
Yeah.
still have them.
Yeah.
We have great outcomes.
Yes, we do.
Patricia was teaching a water aerobic class, and that's when she found out about the heart valve that she needed to have replaced. It was congenital from birth,
I never knew I had it.
and
Before then.
she just taught a class, and then we called to ask a nurse, and they told her
Well,
to go to
because
emergency.
right.
And then they just immediately said, you have to get this changed right away, otherwise you're not gonna be alive in another week or so if you don't do this.
Exactly.
And her
By the way,
class
that was a little scary.
her class was so disappointed because they said, well, we thought you were so healthy. And they see health as kind of black and white, like
Yes.
you are or not.
Yes.
The truth is the outcome was amazing.
Yes.
Except for some other things that we'll talk about later on, but it's, and we work with those things too. So our outcomes are really good.
Well, and I need to talk about this. The self-healing part that we're talking about is we look to see where the problem is, and I'll use my heart as the example. And I was never treated very well.
We create a metaphor
We did.
for the problem and see it
Yes.
as an energy.
Yes.
And then we clear it.
And it's
like in an ecosystem of toxic.
Exactly. Now, my heart was really deficient. Let's put it that way. It was literally broken. And the metaphor was for myself that my heart was broken because I didn't receive as a child the things that I needed. I'm talking about the love and the understanding and the compassion, and even being treated like I was the rest of my brothers and sisters. So my point that I'm getting at is we used our refined intuition to make me strong. And yes, I ended up
We
having
figured
that
out what was
surgery.
wrong. Yeah.
That's right.
They did the surgery, they replaced the valve,
And
but
they
the
went,
outcome was really positive.
and they said, we've never had anyone leave the hospital as soon as you have after this. And then when I went back, for, of course, for the checkup, they said, oh my gosh, you have one of the strongest heartbeats we have ever heard.
So
Oh,
here's the other part of that, okay?
okay.
Emotional problems seem strange to us.
Yeah,
It's not that we don't have them,
sure we do.
but we've been clearing these issues as they come up. Part of the ecosystem approach is seeing your emotional story
Yes.
and seeing them as energies
Yes.
and continuously clearing them.
Yes.
We would never think to see a therapist, and the
No,
reason is, and it's nothing against therapists,
no,
but we know more about ourselves than spending $10,000 could ever do so that they could figure out who we are.
right.
We already know that,
Yes.
and we know what the problem is. As we see the energies, we go about and start to clear them.
That's
It's
right.
amazing. And talk about a mental health advantage.
Yes.
The ecosystem approach, the mental health issues just don't seem to be there.
Right.
Here's the last part.
Go ahead.
It's our relationship. We crave being together.
We do.
We have this, we never feel lonely. We love working together. So many couples can't work together. We love
I've
working
seen that one.
together.
Yeah,
We don't get enough. The biggest problem that we have is we don't get enough time with each other.
exactly.
We're part of each other's ecosystems and formed another ecosystem as a couple,
Yes.
and other people around us don't understand.
Yeah.
It's we use this connection in a very practical and useful ways. We do things together. Judgment is foreign because it comes from programming.
Yes.
Communication is natural to our relationship. The idea that we need to be better communicators doesn't even make sense to us. So
Because we do it naturally.
we do it
because
naturally.
There's no negative energy standing in the way.
So, and we need to talk about this. How are we different than other people? And do they notice the difference?
Right.
They do.
Yes.
That they see that we're some sort of amazing people, but then they don't go further than that. They don't.
They don't know why, and they've been programmed not to ask.
Not to ask, or even not to just assume that it's what it is on the surface.
Right.
We seem to be popular and likable. People like us.
Right. Right.
We're authentic. Because we're being who we're born to be.
Yes.
That authenticity isn't natural to a machine.
Correct.
It's natural to someone who's using the ecosystem approach.
Right.
We're lighthearted. We laugh easily. We exercise regularly, but we avoid rules and pushing ourselves and driving ourselves in ways that we don't feel like it that day. We don't do it.
Yes. And there are days that are like that. Not that many, but there are days.
We've made real changes versus coping with life.
Yes.
We've really changed who we are,
Yes.
and those are real.
Yes.
And we gravitate toward healthy things, not because we should, but because
They feel good.
They feel good.
They
Cooking.
feel right.
She cooks all of our meals here at the house. Gardening, exercise, being caregivers for our family. We did it for our mom. We do it for our dogs.
That's right.
It comes naturally how to take care of them.
Exactly.
And some family we see. This is the thing. We care for our family. You brought chicken soup to your sister yesterday because she was
very
sick.
sick. Yes.
But we also see the toxic effect of some family members.
Mhm.
That's part of the emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Well, that's a whole show in itself.
Yes,
But
it is.
okay.
Okay. So, Jason, what is the summary of the segment?
Patricia and I would never go back to living like machines and programming ourselves. The more we live like an ecosystem and become aware of who we are uniquely, the more we love and crave living this way.
Mm-hmm.
As we go out and meet people, we embrace who we are, and other people seem to like us, but see us as exceptional and nothing more. Living a natural existence makes us embrace natural living because our body craves it.
Yes.
It's not forced or pushed or guilted by the ideas of how we're supposed to live. It becomes part of who we are.
Correct.
Our connection and love for each other seems strange to others because it's so uncommon and seems too good to be true. We created the ecosystem approach so that others could enjoy living life the way we do.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about why living like a machine is so toxic for human beings. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about how we live like machines and how it seems normal and becomes invisible. We live like machines that have been programmed, and when we seek to improve ourselves or grow, we gravitate towards other programming methods. To most people, it seems like to most people, it makes sense that human beings are ecosystems intellectually. But how does that translate to daily life? In simple terms, it's unknown how to live like an ecosystem.
So, what do we mean by being programmed like a machine? In order to understand, we have to talk about what being programmed looks like. Whenever there are instructions that include how to feel, how to act, scripting self-talk, or formulas and methods that are one size fits all, you are being programmed. Sometimes it's the instruction or in the name, like neuro-linguistic programming. That's programming,
Right.
obviously. It's not, we're not saying it's bad, it's just saying that it's programming and all the things that go with
In
it.
other words, we're trying to get you to recognize it.
Or tell yourself this, tell yourself to be gratitude, to have gratitude,
Yes.
or to be more enthusiastic, or
Right.
to love yourself more.
Yes.
Loving yourself happens naturally when you remove the
Negative energy.
negative
That
energies, the
that one's
toxics.
huge,
Yes.
by the way. Yes.
These methods and processes are so common, you're probably thinking, well, what's wrong with these things? And we're going to keep talking about that.
Yes. Yes. So living like an ecosystem feels strange because we've all been programmed so completely to live like a machine. Day to day, this is how it works.
When you're confronted with a problem or challenge or difficulty,
Yes.
or when you have a positive goal or objective, instead of thinking, what do I do? How do I act? Ask yourself, what are the energies that are blocking me, and then clear them.
I want you to say that one again
Oh my
because
gosh.
that is really profound. It's simple, but it's profound.
What are the energies that are blocking me, and just clear them.
Right.
Now, sometimes you say, well, I may not know what that is. Yes. And as you do this, you'll know more and more how to do that.
That's correct.
And the blocking energies are considered toxics in your ecosystem. Think of oil in the ocean.
Correct.
Okay. We remove them using subtle energy techniques that we call clearing. And as you continue to remove the negative energies in your life, you start to feel light, empowered, and generally happier. That's our life. We're
Yes.
happy. We're happy most of the time.
Right. Right.
And when we're not, we don't say, what are we going to do about it? We say, what are we going to clear?
What's standing in my way? What's keeping me from that
Yes.
clarity so I can see? But here is a great example.
Okay.
What if you want to lose weight? Programming yourself like a machine, you would choose a diet, exercise more, and maybe find a group to motivate you. Okay, push you, drive you to lose weight. Unfortunately, this method is not, I want to say it again, this method is not sustainable. If you ever saw the TV show The Biggest Loser, most of those people that did the show, they gained all their previous weight back and then some. They did a survey about it about 2 or 3 years after the show was on. So pushing and driving yourself and using other creative ways to motivate yourself does not work in the long run. What does work?
It's not sustainable.
It is
That's
not,
that word again. Yes.
There you go. It is not sustainable. But what does work is when
Well, we're going to talk about that.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
if we use the ecosystem approach,
Okay.
you would start by removing negative energy around situations where you are triggered to eat in a way that's not healthy.
Correct.
You would go into your emotional story and try to determine the source of your weight problems. You would continue to clear and remove trauma and shame around weight and eating. It can take a while, but not when you compare it with all the times that you tried something and it didn't work, and then you gained back that weight
And more.
and it always is in layers. And compare that to all the time that you've expended, that you've wasted
Right.
trying to lose weight only to gain it back again, or to fail, or to not work,
And
or
become
whatever.
really, really, really stressed around the whole issue.
Exactly.
Yes. So, Jason, what would happen in an ideal world if you lived more like an ecosystem?
So, first of all, there would be an explosion of intuition.
Hmm.
Development of intuition would be ongoing during a lifetime. That's one of the most interesting things that we see. And I see this all the time, especially the people that we choose for leaders, the people that are famous and that we choose to watch or to watch in terms of singers and performers and that sort
Right,
of thing.
right.
We sometimes we see why in terms of the energy. We see
Yes.
this person has amazing energy. Oh my gosh, I want
Yeah.
to see them again. But there's some people that don't.
Mhm.
And we wonder to ourselves over and over again, how did that person get chosen? How come that person is so famous? How
Right.
comes that person got elected? We're just amazed. But when you program yourself like a machine, machines don't have intuition.
No,
They can't see other people and judge who other people are.
correct.
All they can do is do what they're programmed to do. Now,
Hmm.
most of us think that, oh, I'm not programmed. I have free will. I can make choices for myself. But you don't realize how much of what you choose and what you see and what you gravitate toward has been programmed into you for years, from years and years and years.
Correct.
It's
Correct.
a big deal. So, um, emotional intelligence would have huge leaps from what's present now. We would see people more clearly.
Yes.
Um, Self-healing would be commonplace. This is what I'm really excited about.
Okay.
It would be part of any medical treatment, of course, both alternative and traditional treatment. A lot of times you have to have some sort of physical intervention when you're healing, in addition to the energy work.
Correct.
But when you look at what the cause is energetically from a subtle energy perspective and
You see
remove that,
so much more.
yes, and if you remove that, oh my gosh,
Yes.
the outcomes are just amazing.
Right.
We have clients, all sorts of clients where the doctors say, "Oh my gosh," we have one guy who said he had a stroke, and the doctor said, "You're a walking miracle," and but it's not really seen, it's because we've been removing the negative energy,
Right.
emotional and mental illness and difficulties would be drastically reduced.
Well,
There's so much talk about mental health issues today. And I guess in a way, you could say that the ecosystem approach is a mental health exercise
could be.
because we
Sure.
see the toxics in our ecosystem as emotional issues. And we look at those emotional issues and say, well, why are they there? Why do we have those issues? Why is that present?
And if you, in that, that's a really good one. And in that, if you would go back to, and by the way, sometimes you have to clear layer after layer after layer after layer to get to what the basis of that emotional issue is
Yes.
and why it's there and why it haunts you would be the way that I would say it.
Yes.
And with food is a really, really good example. Often food is negative eating, so to speak, is caused from a way of you trying to express yourself. But of course, programming says you can't do that.
Yeah.
And it's very, very, very interesting to understand that when you start clearing the negative energies around food, you will see it really, you don't have to be the victim here. You can say, well, wait a minute. If I take and put this into the processor, and we're going to talk about the processor in just a minute. If you take and put this negative energy into the processor and activate life force, there there comes a clarity that you needed all along to say, wait a minute, whatever that person said to me or whatever that person did to me doesn't mean I have to eat and myself into oblivion with sugar or drink myself.
Or any other coping mechanism
That
that we
is
have with
correct.
negative energy.
Right.
And the truth is that all of us, because we live in the world, we have these issues come up daily,
Yeah.
every single day,
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
And instead of say, what do I do about it? Or going to some sort of thing that makes you feel better, like caffeine or sugar,
Right.
we can just clear it. We can remove it. That's an amazing way to do things.
It's amazing. So yes,
Our values and beliefs around money, success, and achievement would be radically changed. More
yes.
relationships would be healthier, productive, and rewarding.
Well, and you know, one thing and by the way, Jason and I have used this for ourselves regarding money and success and achievement, relationships. But one of the things that comes out of it, one of the byproducts that comes out of it, is being practical. Do I need this or do I want this? That kind of thing. Spending money,
Well,
that kind of thing.
and the difference is that usually we're programmed to want certain things, but
Yes.
when we're living like an ecosystem, it's said, okay, does our ecosystem need this? Now we don't usually ask that question to
Not,
ourselves,
no, not very
but we just
often.
know.
Yes, we do.
We
Yes.
gravitate toward things that our ecosystem needs and
Hmm.
not toward the things that it doesn't,
Exactly.
which includes, sugar and those bad habits. I mean, we haven't had a soda,
Oh,
like a Dr. Pepper or a Coke or any of that. I mean, how many years has it been?
close to 20, I'm gonna say.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
and every once in a while I still see a donut on TV, and I get these flutters, but I don't think we've had a donut in
More,
probably 15, yeah, 15 years.
at
Yeah.
least. So, Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
Living like a machine has been normalized, so it becomes invisible. Instructions that tell you how to feel, how to act, or to push or drive yourself are programming. Programming that tell you to change your attitude or activating an attitude of gratitude are programming methods.
Yes.
Those results would happen naturally if you could see the toxic negative energy that makes up what makes you ungrateful or needing to change your attitude. Just remove them from your ecosystem. In reality, living using the ecosystem approach is truly the most natural way to live without having to live like a hermit or feeling like you have to reject technology.
Yes.
It changes that way you approach life in a way that is the best for your well-being.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about how to work with the energy of your life and some examples of removing negative toxic energies. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to show you some specific ways to work with energy and how we do it. One of the most important aspects of using the ecosystem approach is working with the subtle energy of your personal ecosystem. Okay, this is how you do it.
This is how
Jason?
we do it.
All right.
So for clearing, you don't have to have any sort of special posture.
Okay.
A lot of people are used to that yoga posture,
Right.
that's not necessary. You can be standing, you can be laying down,
Oh,
you can be
perfect.
slouching, you can be walking,
Be comfortable.
you can be taking a shower,
Yes.
you can be doing dishes. I do it while I on my lawn tractor mowing the lawn
Yes.
in the summertime.
Yes. Yes.
You can do it anytime. So
Okay.
the posture is not important. You don't have to be reverent,
No.
and you don't have to pay really strict attention. And so when they say and to eliminate, and when we say to eliminate, and you don't have to wait for our cue. You can create your own clearing statements just following our pattern.
Right.
In your mind's eye and your imagination, imagine gathering up all the things to eliminate, all the emotions, whether it's veils and illusions, barriers, specific emotions like fears, anger, jealousy, need to eat that donut. I was talking about that the other day. Just gather that up in your mind's eye,
Right.
all the way from the tips of your toe up, and then blow it out into the processor. And that's going to put the picture of the processor up right now. It's We're going to talk about the processor because it's a big deal, but just blow it into the processor. It gets processed, and then it's that simple.
It is that simple. Now, we also are going to activate life force after we do some clearings. And activating life force is the most powerful positive energy that we can. And if you think of it by activating life force, that you're replacing positive You're replacing, excuse me, negative to positive, and you remove the negative and then activate the positive. It is an amazing way to not only feel better, but also remove negative energy and know that you don't have to be a victim to that anymore,
Well,
whatever it is.
and think of it, a lot of people say, well, I like life force. I'm going to just use life force. I'm not going to do the negative stuff. It just makes me feel bad about myself, blah, blah, blah.
Yes, I've heard
But
that
it's
more than
like
once.
we've heard that so many times.
Yes.
It's like think about an oil spill.
Hmm.
You have to get rid of the oil. You can activate life force for the marine life, but you have to get rid of the oil first
And
and then
then
activate the life force so that the marine life can come back. Anything that's been killed can
for
be
you and
restored.
the marine life.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
absolutely.
So,
I love the commercial with the where they wash the duck. I'm sorry, it just always,
yeah.
hey, I'm sentimental. I want the duck to have his life as it was intended. That's
Yes.
what I'm trying to say.
So it goes on to quack another days.
Oh,
So anyways,
oh.
so the clearing statement, we're going to go through that, and this is what we say. If you want this all written down, go to our website right now, theecosystemapproach.org. Sign up for our free section. There's a weekly newsletter that we send.
Yes.
It's all written out there. A picture of the processor is there,
Mhm.
and the clearings are there, and a little bit blurb that's connected to the show for
Correct.
that week.
Correct.
It's free. We don't spam you. We don't sell your
No.
email address. Just go to the website, theecosystemapproach.org, and sign up.
Exactly.
So um, I want to talk about the processor.
It's really important.
And Nat, if you'd put that picture up again, if it's not up already, it's a painting. It doesn't exist in the physical dimension. Now,
No.
you can't find it in our garage, for example. Patricia drew this picture. This picture was from her thoughts, but it exists in what we call the non-physical dimension.
Correct.
It's non-tangible, but it gives you an idea of what it is. It goes in the top. There's like a funnel in the top, goes in the top, and it gets processed. Now, if you understand that energy can't be eliminated, created, or destroyed,
That's correct.
we're not really eliminating that energy. What we're doing is we're eliminating the negative part of the energy. So it goes in, it gets processed, comes out neutral.
Yes.
And it's sort of like, I know Patricia, like when I use this example, it was like, processing sewer water. You
It's
can
true.
process sewer water
And make
you
it
can
drinkable.
make it drinkable.
Yes.
You take out the bad stuff.
That is
And
correct.
that's what the processor does. There are so many other systems that move it to someplace else
Right.
or try and burn it up, or it doesn't really do what it's supposed to do
No.
to change the what that energy is doing and how it's affecting you personally.
Exactly.
And the clearing statement, we're going to talk
Okay,
about that.
go for it.
The first part, I direct all my resources. It indicates what to do, what you're about to do. It's saying to your resources, your guides. Some people call them guides. Your essence,
Yes.
saying, "Hey, this is what I'm about to do.
Yes.
Pay attention."
Yes.
And then in all dimensions, it says where these resources are located. So it's not just resources that you have in the physical dimension,
But
in the non-physical dimension,
correct.
your essence, your soul. It
Yes.
says, "Hey,
Yes.
I'm about to do something here. Pay attention."
Yes.
And then what you're going to do with it, eliminate. So that's the action word. You're not eliminating the energy, just the negative part of it.
Yes.
So we're going to do some examples here. And you ready? Should we
I am.
do this?
Sure. Sure.
Here we go. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate. And that's all written out for you if you go to our website and
Right.
sign up for a free section. The barrier, so I can see that when I'm programming myself and forcing my feelings and thoughts, it's not in my best interest. Take a breath. Take a big breath. Blow it into the processor, and let those barriers, so you can see that programming yourself and forcing your feelings isn't positive for you.
Exactly. So, and then the next one is, and to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can just clear or remove the energy blocks when I try to do something versus program, force, or push myself to do it. Nice and easy. Pick up those veils and illusions. Just pick them up like they're a veil and illusion around you and throw them in that processor. We said, Nate, is put that picture up on the screen.
Yeah.
But if you miss that part of this, go to our website. It's right there.
Okay. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that I can't live like an ecosystem in this world today 100% of the time. But when I see myself as an ecosystem and use thought processes to go with that, I'll feel better and happier every single day.
That, by the way, is a true statement.
Yes.
Take a breath and throw those veils and illusions into that processor. Next one is, and to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that the most important part of living like an ecosystem is to see myself authentically and live according to who I am really and uniquely. I'm not a clone of some machine idea of who I am. I am authentic and I can see what's blocking me. Take a breath and blow it out.
The veils and illusions so I can see that part of me that craves to live like my own unique ecosystem.
Yes. Take a breath. All right. Can I activate life
Yes,
force?
let's do that.
All right, here we go. This is basically goes along with the clearing statement, but it goes like this. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force. You're calling life force right to you. So I can use life force to be happy and healthy and have fun and laughter and love and enjoy my world around me, but also be able to learn about who I am. And if I don't like something, throw it away, put it in the processor. And if I do like and love something about myself, I can see it with greater clarity starting right now. Pull it in, right in through the top of your head, and blow out any negative energies that are still there.
So if you can see how living like an ecosystem could help your life, what do? What's the next step?
Right.
So the first step is go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org,
Yes.
sign up for our free section. Go to our YouTube channel, The Ecosystem Approach with Jason and Patricia Rohn.
Yes.
Subscribe to our channel. Go watch a few things. We have lots of content there. Like us while you're there. We appreciate that. You can go to our Facebook page, theecosystemapproach.org.
Yes.
And like us while you're there. Also, you can ask questions if you want to from that website.
Okay. And, can you see why living like an ecosystem could help you in your life? How can I get more information and real support from the ecosystem approach? Jason?
Just go to our website, go to our YouTube channel, and it's all there.
Yes. So understand, if you don't understand things, where can they ask us questions, Jason?
Our Facebook page, or you can make a comment on our YouTube channel.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay, I love that. So we'll connect next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Transformation Talk Radio. You're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Living like an ecosystem is the key to a better life for you.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.